the opinions, all the theories, and don't they rage in every direction when it comes to one particular club? It's more of an inferno than a furnace tonight, and it is dedicated to navy blue.
I think a Carlton fan right now sitting here watching this be saying, what's happened to my proud club? Where's the fight?
What are you doing if you're Michael Voss?
Panicking.
The club is overly emotional, not the people inside. It's overly emotional and it's bordering on destructive.
Well, where their strength lies, it's in their midfield, but their identity is lost currently in there. They're down on clearances. They're not being Carlton.
The messaging is not getting through to the players. There needs to be change. We've said it before, we're all about the players and coaches, but I think this is a change that needs to happen, and I think it needs to happen ASAP.
I think the big issue right now with this Carlton Football Club is the trust off the field and the potential breakdown in relationships between coaching staff and players. That is really hard to get back.
They're at this point in the junction where players can splinter and go one way or the other. You can lean in or you can lean out. How do they go about that?
My belief right now is that is starting to happen.
He's got to be better, Charlie, than this. He doesn't get to enough contests. He doesn't want to be the man. Mitch McGovern lit him up in the last quarter. That should have been Charlie lighting him up.
And Tom DeConey's going to be the highest paid player in the game next year. Like, you watched that game on the weekend, you said he could be going to St Kilda on 1.7 million. He's a mile from that level.
Righty, I haven't seen in the CEO's role, but I think good clubs don't get their CEOs too involved in footy.
I think Carlton are about to, and they should.
All the Carlton supporters would probably say the same. There needs to be a change, and it'll probably happen in the next few weeks, is my tip.
As someone at Carlton said today, change is coming.
As sure as winter. Change is coming. Thursday night against Port Adelaide. Right, real overreaction from all of that, Gaz.
Yeah.
This is a giant mess.
Well, I'm going overreaction, which will be a surprise given that no one was missed there. This talk about the players splintering, all that sort of stuff, that happens at most clubs at some stage during the year, even the good clubs, because there's always someone missing out, Gerard. So there's always someone that's looking for a sympathetic ear, and it becomes a problem when... So Geordie put it on the agenda. I hadn't heard it, obviously, but, you know, I'm sure it's happening. But it becomes a problem when it gets out of hand, and they do need to jump on it if, in fact, that is the case. But it happens everywhere, that sort of stuff. I mean, there's players bitch and moan about not getting opportunity. But when it gets to be 2, 3, 4, because the weak players who don't look within, look outside themselves, then go looking for a sympathetic ear. So they won't go to Cripps and they won't go to Wiedering to talk it through. They'll go to someone and go, oh, you know, I'm being hard done by, and they go, yeah, you are, and they feel that. That's when you get a problem. But it'll be happening everywhere, Gerard. So over to you, and it's all over to Graham Wright.
Yeah, this is real. This is the whole point, is if you bring the anointed chief executive in and you put him in the building from December and give him essentially the research project all the way through to August, you expect him to do the investigation, to find the problems, to propose answers and to take them to the board. Now, not everything can be rubber stamped. It should get to the board, be debated, ratified and then implemented. This is their moment in time. They have set up for this deliberate change. It's more urgent than it looked like it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be a nice, smooth handover, but it needs to be disruptive.
Yeah.
So he's a great footy mind, lay it all out at the right time, take it to the board and then get busy.
Big job.
If it's radical, do it, because this path is not working and you can't sit there and say this is about to be successsul anymore. Yeah. It might be easier if TDK leaves.
Yeah, overreaction for mine. I mean, because that's just bringing it all back to one man. That's just saying, you know, the problem is this, that one of our best players wants to go and he's been poached. You deal with it. You deal with whatever comes. You make your pitch, you give your best offer. He's a wanted player. You sell the club really hard, and then if he goes, you deal with it. So either way, you just have to deal with it. I mean, better players than Tom DeConey have left clubs and the clubs have survived and prospered. That's the message in all of this. Yep. But he's also talented enough to keep him, and if he stays, can be a good result for the Carlton Footy Club. Number 4 is me to you. Charlie's name could be on the trade table.
So this should be real, but not as a sensational grab or not as an act of retribution. I think everything should be on the table. They have a lopsided salary cap, and that's going to require rectification. If they march on with their collection of $1 million players and what's left at the bottom, that's not going to balance anything up. So they have to work out Who has currency? And this is not for the... We're all super coaches on the outside.
Yeah.
We'd trade everyone.
Yeah.
Who has currency? What could you get for it? How will it help balance things? And I wouldn't play favourites. I would study each player, study the market on each player, and then work out which is the right move. I don't think Charlie would be number one on my list, but he wouldn't be off my list.
No.
And I think you'd have the conversation with probably every player, bar Whateley, who just signed your, whatever it was, the 7-year deal. Could Simo and Horse do better?
That is an over to the board. So I've sat on the coaching panel and got it wrong, Gerard. So these are things that are hard to... The track records are such that suggest that, yes, they could do better. But then you've got to go to the heart of, and we can ask them tomorrow night, I'm sure they're going to be ready for it, is to whether or not their heart and soul's in it. And is John Longmire got a burning, deep-down ambition to get back in and turn, for instance, this club around? Or has Adam Simpson had enough time outside to sit back and go, throw me back into this thankless task of 90 hours a week where you don't sleep at night? And you know, so if they can tick all that box, then they probably could. But my suggestion is they're some way from that, having worked from them, but yeah, it could change quickly. Buddy might be the new hot take king.
Oh, this is the realest reel of reels, isn't it? Do you think Buddy realised what this was going to look like? When this is the joy of podcasting, is once it gets taken out of your environment with Shane Crawford and quite rightly plastered all over the back page. That is a sensational thing for Lance Franklin to say. That Voss will be gone in a couple of weeks, and should be.
It's the master at work, mate. Shane Crawford's got this unwieldy ability to just extract something out with his subtle, half-dumb questioning that is a bit smarter. So I put it down to the master interviewer. I blame him, Crawford.
Hot take, Buddy. Righto, our youngsters are about to join us here at the desk. Harry Sheasel, it's time for North to get their plaudits. And Will Day, what is the path towards finals looking like?